Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia. Um, I'm making this channel to share a lot of my spiritual experience, but then I started realizing I just really would like to share my journey in life, period. So much of it has been spiritual, but then there's also the 3D, like the mental aspects, the emotional aspects, all kinds of it. So, I'd like to kind of dive into all those things in this channel. So, not to make the intro too long, but I'd like to share my story. I feel like I've had a lot of things that I've gone through in my life that most people have not, let alone how many of the things that I've gone through that, although some people may have, they may not have gone through all the same in one lifetime. So I have had a very traumatic upbringing. It's been tough. Um, and it's been quite the journey, and I've learned a lot. I've come to grow to be very thankful for that journey, and um, I'm ready to share it. I'm feeling very shy, as you can tell. I'm not even knowing where to look in the camera, but we're gonna get there. It's a lot of trial and error. It took me forever since the last video that I put up just to get um, the mic situation figured out, to save up for that, then to get the guts to speak to y'all. Spirit's really been working on me not being so afraid to be seen. Now, it's funny because I have a personality where it is very vibrant. I'm a Leo sun, and we don't usually shy away from attention, but the problem has been that in some situations I'll be shy and then some I won't. I've even gone through feeling like, oh, maybe I'm socially, anxious, like I have social anxiety just because I'm introverted, but I've come to realize in my journey that I'm a very sensitive empath, but also that a lot of the trauma that I've gone through growing up has shaped me to put up such strong boundaries that it's almost like become like walls. And so I'm learning to find the proper balance for me, because what's right for one person doesn't really mesh for another. It depends on the set of circumstances, the people that you are faced with, and your own personality and your own desires and likes and what you want to allow and what you've yet to learn, right? So, yeah, I'm figuring that out, and I'm excited to share that sort of stuff too. But I did have a topic in mind that I really wanted to discuss that really interested me lately. I was following someone called Real Kaya, it looks like, on YouTube. She does videos on TikTok too, and so I just wanted to give her a shout out for her topic that interested me about the community of spirituality that's on TikTok or even online, how some people are saying it's toxic and they want to shy away from it or leave it. Now, I just want to put out there that, you know what, you always have your own free will and should decide to do what you want, period. And that it's a growth journey, that you're gonna make some mistakes along the way, and that is normal, that is supposed to happen. So just keep that in mind. But that being said, just like with anything out there, there are people who are out there to con you. Like, there are some people who are opportunists, or even psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, like you name it, who are out there, and they'll just say, hey, you know what? A lot of these people who aren't really spiritual say, oh, look at these other people believing into this. I can spin this crap and make money off of it and stuff. And so I'm here to warn you that, yeah, those people are out there. Now, it's not everyone. And so that's why you need to use discernment. And so I was kind of hoping to share some of the things that I've learned, because I've gone through certain things too, like they call a spiritual psychosis, where you kind of almost go in so deep and so trusting, and you get to the point where you realize, oh my God, there's just nothing but things I need to change, and you're hearing this bad stuff, and you feel like nothing's ever enough, and it's too much, and you almost have to make it a full-time job of doing everything. You don't have time for your actual life. Like, no, all things in life need to be in balance. So you always need to keep that in mind and use your own discernment. And that being said, your discernment grows and gets better with the pitfalls. And I'm sorry to say there's no like baby bumpers or whatever in life. It sucks when it sucks. Like it really does. So when things go down and you're freaking out and everything you've learned gets wiped away from you and you realize, oh man, I'm awakened and I can't go back. Like this is what it is, right? You have to roll with it. Like you can't unknow things, right? So basically, I've gone through that too. I wanted to share as well that there are legitimate people out there. There are a lot of us. And then there's some people who are honestly just in different steps of the journey. And like I'm saying, there are definitely going to be people who are way further than me, like they're ascended masters, if you believe in that, which I do. And then there's some people who are like every level along the way. And so you need to keep in mind and use your own discernment that when you're dealing with certain people that, sorry, excuse me, I just need a quick drink here. That there are people who are at different levels of their journey and they have different experiences and they may not have gone through it, or they see it a different way, or they believe a different way. Like we have free will. We can choose to believe what we want. Like we don't have to agree on the same things. Just like there's some things here that I'm going to say likely going to trigger some people. People are going to want to go to the comments and freak out or whatever. And you know what? You can believe what you can believe. I will not respond to negative comments. I'm just going to throw that out there. But at the same time, you need to know that spirituality is really meant to be something more personal, really. Sorry. I kind of went through something like this, similar with what I call organized religion. And so there's some organized religion out there that really is teaching people that, you have to follow everything like it says, literal by the book, or even if it's not literal and they use symbolism and stuff, they're really using it like a business, and they're trying to basically promote their business to keep you around, to keep paying for things and stuff, right? To keep them afloat. Because if you think about all the things these churches do, and then you see the money that is going around in these pots, like, I don't know, something doesn't align. And so I used to belong to several different religions in my very already short life, and come to know and see these things for myself. Now, some people may get triggered by that and not believe that, but like I said, you have the right to believe what you believe, and we've had different experiences, and you just haven't had mine, right? And even if you have, you may have chosen to believe differently than me, right? And that's all okay, right? Like you have the right to believe what you believe, and I am not gonna sit here and judge you for it, right? But I do want to share with people how to get and maybe navigate safely towards your own beliefs, and you can choose whatever those may be, right? And so, sorry. It's probably best that you not maybe mix business and spirituality. It's free. You can you can speak to spirit anywhere, anytime, with anyone, any place, and it's best to do it alone. It's okay to ask questions and reach out for help and stuff, of course. But at the same time, you get to these people, like, for example, in my life, I've had my mother who would say, like, well, whenever I'd share stuff with her, why don't you pray for me? Or why don't you ask spirit for this for me? And I was like, well, okay, let's say I do that. You're really not going to believe on the level of, if you're having this relationship with God, spirit, source, whatever you believe or want to call it yourself, if you're not the one doing it, right? And that's basically where she was coming from, and it was kind of morphing things. And then I started realizing that, the more I share, it might not be helping her, to enable her to like do things for her. And so that's when I started telling her, like, there's something you really need to do and take part and be active in yourself, and you're going to get from it only as much as you put in. And if you want help, you have to ask for it because of free will. So there are the rules that if you don't ask for help, you will not get it. And that is in the Bible too. And I strongly believe that myself too, that if you ask not, you have not, right? And then sometimes even when you ask, it may not come in the way that you think. And usually it is not in the way you think most of the time. This is how it is because we don't know best, keeps us humble too. So there's that. And then there's some people who you need to be careful about reaching out to them for spiritual stuff, because if they aren't humble people, and like I said, they are people who might be con artists out there to get you like for money or content or whatever, they're likely to want to pull on your heartstrings, say that they're giving you advice to kind of keep you hooked and play on your emotions, but then say, oh, I'm not telling you anything, right? Like, I think most people can sense that, but even if you can't and you haven't yet, I'm here to tell you that that's out there. And that's why, for example, in my channel, I don't think that my content will only be like guidance or just collective readings and stuff. Like, I'd like to share just my journey, period. And I feel like anytime we share a journey, just like people reading books in a library, it's someone else's wisdom, life wisdom, or even their imagination and their ideas. I think those things are valuable. I think they come from our soul, which I believe all souls come from Source, the One. And so like it helps, and it inspires each other. It gives us ideas. It gives us hope. It's definitely a valuable thing to share, and I'd like to do that. And I feel like I've attained a lot of wisdom, and I've grown and evolved a lot, which is something I like to do as a Scorpio Southstone. That's kind of in my area of, I feel like, I don't know if I want to say expertise, but like comfort is, it's more my comfort area. It might not seem it because I'm pretty shy putting myself out there on such a platform, and in a way where it's hard to really take back. And I have no idea what kind of comments or even if this will even get seen. Hopefully it does, because I have the intention to want to help and guide people. So hopefully you guys like that. But the way I'm putting the videos together and the kind of content that I'm going to put out there is going to change. Like, you may see things on weight loss. You may see, creative stuff that I put out there. Like, I'm someone who likes to do nail art, for example. You might see something like that. I do tarot readings, and I might just pick topics like I am today and just giving you my piece on it. And then also, I'm someone who would like to write a book of my life experiences, and I'd like to take some days to maybe talk about some of those sensitive things, like the really traumatic ones. Like, I have so much. I'm seeing a counselor even now, and I take part in group activities, and I see so many women who could use help, and how we all try to help and root for each other too. And I see how great it is to have a community like that. And it's just so hard to find, good community for some people based on where you live and things like that, where I feel like being online is one of the best ways to reach the most people and likely make the most impact. And so that's why I'm deciding to do this and to be brave and put myself out there, because I believe it's worth it. So that being said, be careful when going out there and watching things on spirituality, and don't just say no and mock it and say things like, oh, it's people, looking for their horoscopes and stuff like that. Like, those are some of the videos I'm seeing. It's not all fake. Don't give up on it. And sometimes if it's too much, like, don't be afraid to walk away, Like, there are times when even I have said, you know what, this is just too much for me right now. Like, I can't. I need to put a pause on this. I need to prioritize a couple other things, you know, get that energy back, that flow back. If you need to do that, you need to do that. You need to use your intuition and intuitively know what is best for you. And nobody knows best for you than yourself, because you know best what you're feeling. I mean, obviously spirit too, but if you're taking a break, definitely listen to yourself, right? And so definitely do those things. And always use discernment. And you know what, if you don't trust what you're seeing out there, then just go within. That's really all you need, you know. You really don't have to watch anything. I mean, these weren't around, and many people were going on their spiritual journeys even before this, and you just talk to people that you do trust then, if that's what you want, or even read, and you know, and the trial and errors. But are you gonna sometimes feel like, am I crazy for thinking this, or is this true, or believing something and then doubting it later and then believing it again? You know, that is all normal. Like, I'm here to tell you and share that other people have this, and yeah, it's normal. But there are a lot of people out there who will try to tell you that, oh, without a doubt, this is this, and without a doubt, that is that. And, you know, you got to start learning to smell the BS when it's being put out there. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing this just for money, and they're not afraid to tell you whatever they got to say just to make that buck, right? And to make content. So for me, it's not all going to be just the one thing. It's just the journey, and I like things that have to do with intuition, creativity. Like I said, Scorpio's South Nodes, that's my area of comfort. I like weird things that seem kind of woo-woo. And at one point, we all thought this was woo-woo before we got into where we, you know, our area, our level of the journey too. So it's totally normal to think that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you like it, subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. I look forward to seeing some of that in the future, and if not, then thanks for having clicked on my video. Hope you got something of value from it. I appreciate seeing you, and hopefully I'll see you again.